Hi there guys, I'm Anushka and today I'm going to talk to you about Saturn transiting the 6th house. And I'm going to really give a lot of my own personal experience because this is something I'm going through right now. And hopefully that can help give you an idea of what it might be like for you when you experience this, or maybe you'll be able to relate if you are experiencing this right now. I just want to say hello to my new subscribers and to my old subscribers. Thank you so much for your support. And for those of you who aren't subscribed and you're interested in my channel, then check it out, give it a subscribe, click the like, it all helps. So before I go on to talk about my experience of Saturn transiting my 6th house, let's first of all break down these two components, so the 6th house and Saturn. So beginning with the 6th house, what does the 6th house rule? Pets, our job, if we're an employee, our co-workers. It deals with our day-to-day routines and rhythms. It's also a house where we can see refinement occurring, and organization is a big part of this house, how we juggle things. But don't forget, this house is naturally ruled by the sign of Virgo, so it's about the details, the different tasks, and putting them all together and being able to manage them in a way that works for us, or finding a way to manage them. This is also a house where we can refine things. It has to do with detoxification and purification. So all of those themes are what are encompassed within the 6th house. So now let's move on to Saturn. You may see some interesting complementary aspects between Saturn and the 6th house when I go through this. So Saturn is to do with discipline, boundaries, limitations, authority, our own sense of authority, structure, the foundations of things as well. Saturn rewards hard work. Saturn rewards consistency and persistence. But on the flip side, Saturn can also bring delays or frustrations in whichever area it's traveling through in our charts. It can also bring a feeling of defeatedness as well. We can feel like, it's one step forward and 2 steps back. It can feel a little bit like that sometimes, and that can be really frustrating. There can be a coldness as well that can be associated with Saturn. There can be a feeling of isolation. And as negative as all of that may sound, what is key to remember with Saturn, whichever house it's transiting in your natal chart, is that the reason that these delays might occur, the reason why this frustration might occur, it's not because the universe doesn't have your back. It's not because you just can't win at that area of life at that time. What it's trying to do, Saturn wants you to really do your due diligence. It wants you to know the details. You can't cut corners. It wants to know that you've learned whatever lesson that you're meant to learn thoroughly and properly, so you can move on from that lesson, in a sense graduate from that lesson, and also graduate that area of life. So essentially it wants you to master, and that's a really, really great term to think about with Saturn. It wants you to master the area of life that it's in. So if we're talking about the 6th house, it wants you to learn to master your daily routine, your health habits. It wants you to persevere in terms of what you're doing with your job, what you're doing in the service that you give to others, because this 6th house does rule the service we give to others as well. And once you do that, you have that foundation, and you can then move on to more flexibility. And I think sometimes Saturn gets a really bad rap, and sometimes people really fear Saturn. And if I'm completely honest with you, my experience of Saturn transiting through my houses in my own personal life, yes, it brings its challenges, but the learning that you get is such a reward, and it's kind of like a relief. It kind of feels like there's something, that a weight drops away from your shoulders, because you now know you can do that. And so it's on to the next thing. I feel like you grow up, you level up, as my partner likes to put it. You level up a bit when Saturn goes through one of your houses, and you gain a sense of confidence if you really work with this, and if you embrace the challenges that it's bringing for you. So let's go on to my personal experience and what this has been like for me and what this is still like, because Saturn is still in my 6th house. And for those of you who are interested, I'm a Virgo rising. And so my 6th house is actually ruled by Aquarius. So before actually we go into that, I just want to say my approach to how I deal with my daily routine, because it's ruled by Aquarius, okay? My 6th house is ruled by Aquarius. So my approach to my daily routine is very much that I like to consider ways of doing things that are out the box. I do. You'll always see me researching things on YouTube as of like how to better manage my day, or little strange hacks to kind of, just help me in my day-to-day life. Well, it's quite an Aquarian thing to do, one, to use technology in a way to help me better manage my day, but also to be thinking outside of the box, to be approaching things from maybe a slightly strange angle that some people might find it strange. Personally, I don't. One example, I really like to start the morning when I can, when it's not freezing cold as it is right now. It's winter in England right now, but I like to start my mornings with my bare feet on the ground outside of my garden, doing a grounding meditation. That's what I like to do. And for some people that might be like, ooh, she's a bit peculiar. What's going on there? But for me, it sets me up for my day. Before I look at my phone, before I look at anything else, if I do that, then I just feel this groundedness. Now that's a very, I would say, it's not the most usual way of beginning your day, but that just gives you an idea of how I approach those 6th house matters. I come to things from a slightly different angle. I will embrace astrology, esotericism, which is also ruled by Aquarius. But anyway, I'm babbling now. I'm going on about my Aquarian ruled 6th house. Let me go on. Let me tell you about the experience that I'm having so far with Saturn transiting that house of mine, that 6th house. I think I'd like to start with talking about work and my job. So this is my passion. This and art is my passion, and hopefully one day I can be doing this full time and my art full time. But I do have a day-to-day job that I do that supports my income and supports me being able to do this for you guys. So if we start with how I've experienced this work-wise, I have made notes. So if you see me glance, just, sorry about that, but it's just so I can remember what I've written down. So there have been delays as far as my work's been concerned. And what I mean by that is, so I have, at the moment where it stands, is I am due for a promotion. And I've been due for a promotion for a little while now. And it's completely outside of my control. There's nothing I can do about it. It's to do with the circumstances of my work. We've just come out of a really crazy time with a lot of change in management and some real big stuff going on. So now's not the time where I can push and be like, oh, here I am, remember what you said to me, and and really putting my face in front of my employers and really kind of trying to be that go-getter, which everyone always seems to tell you to do, especially in American cultures. It seems to be this thing of like, if you want it, you gotta go for it. You gotta kind of keep on bugging them and let them know you're there. And it's like, I can't do that right now. I really can't. If I do that, all it will do is annoy them, and the promotion probably won't happen. I'm very aware of that. But I have to have patience, and I am having patience. And so with that, I'm naturally a hard worker. I always have been. I'm not good at just sitting still or doing the least. I always have to be, I like being busy. I like putting my all in. I like being engaged. So I'm being hardworking, I'm being diligent, I'm being patient, and all those things are ruled by Saturn. And I do trust that the promotion will come. I'm just having to wait for it, I'm just having to be patient in terms of that. So that's one way in which it's affected my job. Another thing that's happened, and I don't want to speak on anyone personally, but because of the craziness that was going on in our workplace, it put a lot of stress on a lot of people. It put a lot of pressure on a lot of people. So there was this, rather than being the group and the team that we really should be and wanted to be, there was kind of this feeling of like a split and fracture. Not because anyone wanted to, but just I think the pressure was getting to everybody. And so there was a feeling of a bit of coldness at one point, which thankfully we've come through. We've all grown from the experience, you know. There was a bit of an icy feeling sometimes at work, and Saturn can be like, what you can get with Saturn in your sixth house is you may find that your co-workers just are giving you the cold shoulder, or maybe you're finding them really difficult to deal with, just challenging, and you're like, I just don't know how to get around this. You know, luckily we've made it through and everything is cool and it feels like a really good team now and it's lovely. So I'm happy for that. But this can be a challenge you can come up against, you know, feeling frustrated, feeling like there's a blockage in your kind of relationship with your co-workers. Really, I would say, don't fly off the handle. I think that's the worst thing you could do. I mean, in general, it's not a great thing to do at work anyway. But patience and understanding, I think, are required. You don't always know where other people are coming from or what they're going through. And I think it helps to have those real conversations and to put it in a professional manner, not like, oh my gosh, you hurt me or this, but be like, look, we need to work together. We need to be a team. We need to build together. Saturn likes structure, likes to build. Approach it from that way if you're having that experience. Saturn transiting in your sixth house as well can just see you feeling like you are fed up with your job. You know, you've had enough. It's drudgery. It's just, ugh, why am I doing this? And if that's the case, I would suggest that you take the time to consider why you are doing this. And is there something that you're passionate about that you can start integrating into your daily life, your daily routine, bit by bit, a passion project that you can work on like bit by bit, more and more, and build that up. This is a time to really be putting in those daily structures, putting those daily flows, daily structures into place so that the day can flow. And what we do on a day-to-day basis, I think the sixth house gets such little recognition. What we do on a day-to-day basis actually ends up being, it ends up being our fate, essentially, you know? And how can I put this? So if you go for a run every single morning, or I don't know, most mornings, yeah? What's going to happen to your body? You know, you're going to have better cardio, fitness, all of that. You're probably going to lose some pounds, all of that kind of stuff. It pays off in the end, and you get a result at the end. At the same time, if you're eating junk food every single day, you're going to put on weight, your cardio is going to suffer, you know, you could have health complications, and that's going to be your result. So that's what I mean when I say fate. Those little decisions we make, the choices we make on a day-to-day basis, they end up being our destiny. So it's a really great time to examine, what am I giving my time to on a day-to-day basis? It doesn't mean you have to be, I don't want you to come away from this thinking, oh my God, I have to use every single minute to, you know, constantly be on go. It's not about that. There's a balance to be struck here, you know, but it's about, I think, making sure that, how can I put this? I really like it when I get to the end of a day and I feel like I'm happy with today. I'm proud of today. You know, or yeah, I feel good about my day to day. And if I can have 5 of those in a week, that's great. If I had 5 days where I'm like, I'm really happy with today. I had a really nice time, or I achieved what I really wanted to achieve, or, you know, I pushed myself that little bit harder when I went to the gym or when I went running. If I can have 5 of those in a week, I'm happy with that. I don't mind having the odd day or a couple of days where it's like, a bit frustrating, didn't quite get there. But 5 of those means that I'm gradually building and building and building and moving forward. So great time to start looking at that. Sorry if I'm rambling a bit. What else? We talked about delays. Yeah, another thing to do with work is there has been this an expectation of authority that's kind of been placed upon me, but not in a bad way. I think, so what I do outside of this, I've been doing for years. So I know how to do it. I could probably do it with my eyes closed. And I think that is really showing my authority, Saturn, okay? My authority in terms of my service that I give, the fact that I know it so well, the fact that I've been doing it for years, it's really starting to show, and it's being noticed by people in authority as well. So, and hence the promotion. So hence this is why I'm being eyed, and it's coming, it's going to be happening. And that's something you may find if you've been honing a skill for ages, if you've been in your job for a while, you may find that your authority naturally comes to the forefront when Saturn transits your 6th house, your place of work. Suddenly people are going, wow, they're really good at their job. They are really good at their job. We can depend on them. They're reliable. They know what they're doing. And it may be a time when that authority is needed. The place where you work, they need that experience. They need that authority. They really respect that. So that's a nice thing that can happen. And it's a nice feeling, I can't lie. It's nice to be recognized. It's nice to be appreciated, and for people to see that you know what you're doing and that you do your job well. So that's been a really nice part of it. Okay, so now we're going to move on to health. And before I do, I just want to say, I literally just stopped the camera to just check everything was filming okay, because I haven't used this camera before. And I realized it really cropped out so much, and like my head is just floating in the air. So I'm sorry guys, I don't know if this is going to be any better. I've tried to play around with the settings, so hopefully this is a bit better, because like literally I was like kind of like that, which is weird. Okay, but we're getting there. Anyway, let's move on. So how this has affected me health-wise. Health-wise, having Saturn in my 6th house, it's made me very aware of the little actions that I take that either affect me positively or negatively when it comes to my health. It's kind of a sobering reality in terms of what my physical limitations are. And I guess, that's a good thing, really. I'm 30, I'm in my mid-30s, I'm 36. So I should know, this is the time when I need to learn when not to push myself, and when enough is enough, or when not to exhaust myself. And so this is something that I'm still grappling with, if I'm completely honest with you, because I've always been somebody who likes to do things in a big way to a certain degree. When I had a jewelry business, I would stay up until God knows what hour editing my photos, working on my website, and then get up the next day and do it all again. I would work for about 20, well, not 20 hours, that's a lie. No. I would work from when I got up to when I went to sleep, basically, and just take breaks for something to eat. And so I'm somebody who can be when I get into something, I can be a little bit obsessive. And that's something I need to watch out for, because I'm really starting to notice the health ramifications with that. If it's great to work on a project, but if I stay up all night doing that and then I'm absolutely shattered for my day job, then, it doesn't really balance out. So yeah, still dealing with that one, still trying to get my limits right. I am very aware of it, but it's something that I'm consciously working on. And don't forget, Saturn moving through, any house is a slow-moving planet. It will give you the time. That's one thing that I do appreciate about Saturn. It will give you the time to learn the lesson and really try and integrate it into your life. And so, I'm not there yet, I can honestly say, but I am very aware and very conscious of that. And so I'm really trying to work with it and bit by bit improve. And I think that's a really good point, actually. With Saturn moving through your 6th house, it's a really good idea not to this is not the time to just do a total overhaul. This is about what realistic improvements can I make. Even if they're just little details. Those little details, like I mentioned earlier, if you're going running every day, it builds up over time. Those little things will impact the greater picture. So it's a really good time to just look at, for instance, for me, going to bed early is a problem. I've always been like this ever since I was a kid. I hated going to sleep. I've been awful for it. But even if it's just that, okay, tonight I'm going to go to bed 15 minutes earlier than I did last night. And the next night I'm going to try and go to bed 15 minutes earlier. Or if you do it week on week, don't try and do too much. It's about gradual improvement, gradual steady improvement. That's what Saturn appreciates, and that's what it will reward you for. And that's what you essentially will feel the reward of. So that's one thing. I'm really starting to take my daily routine seriously. I really am starting to take my health seriously. I've always been good with my diet, but I haven't been great these last few months when it's been come to exercise. And I think it's because it's cold here, it's winter, and you just kind of want to curl up. You don't want to go outside that much unless it's a nice sunny, crisp day. And so I really need to push myself in that regard. Saturn likes you to kind of build up your strength, and I am feeling like I'm weak, I feel it in my arms, I feel it in my legs, and I've always been quite a physically strong person. But for me at the moment, because I haven't really been doing as much exercise as I, like to do, I can feel that weakness in myself. So I really want to build up that strength. So for me, working on strength is really important, and flexibility is a really good thing to highlight when Saturn moves through your sixth house, because Saturn is quite a rigid planet. And if we're not moving, if we're not, if we're just being, what's the word? If we are being, I can't remember the word, but when you, sedentary, that's it. If we're being sedentary for long periods of time, then we will become rigid. Things will tighten up and it'll be harder for us when we do want to move. So doing something that increases your flexibility is a really, really good shout when Saturn's moving through your sixth house. I personally am going to get way back into my yoga, and now that we're starting to get towards spring here in the Northern Hemisphere, go for those early morning runs, because I know how good it makes me feel as well. So that's something that, again, I'm working on, I'm in the midst of, and, getting to grips with. What else can I say? What have I put down? This is something that's really interesting. I am becoming far more acutely aware of when I overwhelm myself. And I'm somebody who likes to write lists. I'm somebody who likes to get things done. I like to be a busy bee. But what I found in the past is quite often I'll get my diary, I'll write, okay, this day I'm going to do this, this, and this day, this, and this. And in the past, if I didn't achieve everything, I would feel disappointed in myself. And sometimes it would kind of come at the cost of my mental well-being. I would overwhelm myself with too many things. And what I've really learned to do now with Saturn here, which, don't forget, Saturn wants you to get to the important tasks. It's not interested in all the fluff. It's not interested in, doing too much. It wants you to refine. It wants you to concentrate. It wants you to focus. And build structure. So now what I've done is I will put in my diary on a day-to-day basis 2 things that I really want to get done. Those are important. Anything else can go by the wayside, and if it's not that, it's about prioritizing. So be aware of mental overload or mental overwhelm when Saturn's transiting your sixth house. It's trying to say to you, look, what is key, what's necessary, and what's not. Let's get rid of the superfluous. Saturn's to do, it cuts, it's to do with boundaries, it's related to surgery. So it wants you to cut away what is a waste of your time, or what is pointless, or something that, is only adding extra stress for no reason. So, and I'm actually finding that that's one aspect of this Saturn transit that I'm really getting to grips with very well. I have my whole list. I really want to do a big, sorry, I feel like I spoke really fast, and let me reset. Okay, patience, calm. Yeah, I have a whole list of cleaning duties that I want to do over the next, I would say, month. And old me would have been like, I need to get that all done in a week. But I can't. They're like deep cleaning things. It's all sorts of stuff. It's like sorting out the garden ready for spring. It's all sorts of things. Getting a carpet cleaner, all of that. But I've written down my list in the back of my diary, and I'm like, okay, just gradually making my way through it. This is an interesting thing, actually. I'm really feeling that physical clutter in my home and in my day-to-day life is just not conducive to me having a clear mind. And I've always been like that, but I'm really feeling it with this transit. I'm feeling the need for things to be clean. I'm feeling the need to declutter. I've gotten rid of so much stuff that I don't need. I even said to my partner, when it was around Christmas time, I said, I don't want unnecessary things. Don't just get me stuff to stocking fill or to, just because it's nice. I don't want things that I don't need. And I'm really, really feeling that. And it's really nice actually, because I used to be a bit of a, not a hoarder, not a like collector, but you know, if something was nice and caught my eye, I'd get it. Whereas now I'm like, is this necessary? Do I need this? Because all it's going to do is cluster up my day to day otherwise. And so I'm being very, very decisive and picky about what I invite in to my life at the moment, in terms of physical things, and also in terms of what I'm thinking about, what I'm spending my time considering on a day-to-day level. So yeah, I don't know if any of that made sense, but it does to me. So what else? Oh yeah, so service to others is also ruled by the sixth house. And other than my job, something that I consider my service to the world is what I'm doing here right now with you guys, my YouTube. And I've really, really been thinking so much about this, my YouTube and my channel, my astrology, my services, the things I'm passionate about. And the reason why I've had such a long break since my last video is because I've really been doing so much serious thinking. I didn't just want to come back and make these videos and not have a sense of direction. And now that I've done so much thinking, I've really kind of planned out, mapped out what I want from this, where I want this to go. I feel like I have the right understanding and the right basis in myself in order to create the content that I want to create, and hopefully it will lead to what I want. So my service to others is something that I've really been thinking about. I want my content to be, I want it to have purpose. I want it to be knowledgeable and not just pretty, you know. I want it to be useful to you guys. I want it to be really practical. And I feel like my goals when it comes to the content that I'm creating now are, or my values rather, are slightly different to what they were in the past. I'm going to be completely honest and say that in the past, I think I liked being on YouTube. I was obviously passionate about what I'm doing, but now I feel more the sense of responsibility that what I'm talking to you about, that what I'm giving you, the information I'm giving you, is as true, is as real as possible, as I know it. That I'm being as authentic as possible, that I'm being as useful to you as possible. And it's a real maturity that's happening for me in terms of the service that I provide. So it's something I'm really enjoying, and I hope that it pays off, and I hope that you guys see it and that you recognize it moving forward. There are going to be videos coming out now on a regular basis, but it's taken me a lot of time of reconsidering, why am I doing this? What am I doing? What is this for? Because this takes time out of my day. You know, and I no longer have like, what do you call it, advertising or anything like that. So I'm not actually currently making money from my YouTube videos, unless someone contacts me for a reading or for some artwork related to their birth chart. Then this is my passion. But I want to make sure that just because it's my passion, I'm not just doing it for my sake. I'm actually giving you content that's really worth you listening to, and I really hope that that's the case. Fingers crossed. I want to see if there's anything else that I can say for the time being, or if I should just shut this down. I mean, there's a lot that I could say. There is a lot, but I don't want this video to go on forever, and I hope that what I've given you makes some sense. I can't really tell you that there's been anything in terms of my, I've got a cat, and sixth house rules pets. In terms of him, nope, he's fine. He's asleep just off shot there. No, 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 he's just still doing him. But yeah, on the whole, it's a really interesting transit, and I really feel a sense of inner maturity and an upgrade, you know, a graduation that's happening within myself. And I like it. I feel more measured. I feel more realistic. I feel more grounded. And when I do push too far, or I go too hard, or if I party too hard because it's a friend's birthday or something like that, I really, really feel the knock-on effect instantly. And one thing I will say is I feel guilt quite a bit. at the moment when I don't know, I feel guilt when I don't achieve what I should have achieved because I kind of got distracted. I do feel that is something that's really checking me at the moment. But it is making me mature in different ways, and we never stop maturing, you know. Just because I'm 36 doesn't mean that I'm not mature in certain ways, and in other ways I am. It's a learning process, it's a growth process. But the beauty of Saturn is that it's here for some time, and I do feel like it's giving me the opportunity to really make my life work better for me. So that's something I really take away from this transit. Saturn's here to make your life work better for you. And if you are getting delays and frustrations and roadblocks, then it means that it's time to take a sober stock, you know, a sober look at reality and what it is you're doing that's maybe getting in your own way, or maybe what it is, what situations you're in, what work situations you're in that are just not working for you anymore. So yeah, I hope that was helpful for you guys, and it's so lovely to be making content again. I love it. I've missed this so much, and I'm so excited. I have the next video lined up, and that's going to be based on mercurial people, so watch out for that one. If you don't know what a mercurial person is, then give my video a try. And you'll find out. All right, lovely ones, thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for being here. Take care of yourselves. Love you all. Appreciate you. Support, guys. This is my passion, and this is what I want to do full time. For those of you who would like to support me in doing that, you can head over to buymeacoffee.com/AnushkaAstro. The link is up here on the screen, and you can donate as much or as little as you like with no sign up, and it's much appreciated. Other than that, give it a like, give it a subscribe, give me a comment, because I love to know what you think about my videos and to get a conversation going. So many thanks. Take care.